Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It really does help the channel out. Welcome to the new members. We've had a staggering 540 new subscribers this 28-day period. So thank you very much. We've hit over 6K. Let's get to 7 ASAP Rocky. But welcome to the show. Hope we're all doing really well. And today, a few of you have asked just about the bid match system, some of the AFL rules. So I figured we'll do a real-life scenario, and then we can take a little bit of a look-see. So let's just look at the AFL rules. So how are the draft picks allocated? So the draft picks in our game are meant to be allocated 18 to 1, 1 being 18th on the ladder, 18th being the reigning premiers. So effectively, obviously, you've just got to draw a line under the top 8. So 1 to 10 is basically ladder order. And then 11 to 18 works on how they progress in finals versus the ladder order. So that's really simple. So a team like Brisbane, they are allocated pick 18 regardless of where they finish on the ladder because they won the premiers. Second are obviously the grand finalists, the guys that didn't quite make it, so on and so forth. So look at it that way. But, as it says here, though, regardless of what you receive in the trade period, it's versus your list spots. So, if you've got 5 list spots and 20 picks, so we've got the example here, if a team like Richmond have pick 1, 24, 32, 42, 43, 45, 51, 61, 70 and 76, and at the end of the trade period, the start of the draft, they've only 5 list spots, 45, 51, 61, 78 and 76 would be eliminated come it goes Richmond, you're on the clock. So whoever pick 1 is. We've used Richmond for this example because we make it a bit simpler, but that would work for St Kilda. St Kilda currently, they have what, 7, 8, 27 and 47. Let's just say they only had 3 list spots. 47 would die in that scenario. Now, let's go to the matching bids, because this is complicated. Every pick is allocated a numerical value. So, pick 1 is 3,000, pick 2 is 2,517, so on and so forth. So, I want you to think that as a mandatory value. The way I get my head around it, imagine pick 1 is worth $3,000, pick 18 is worth $985. It goes down in price. Now, multiple picks, because of this, work out that they have more mandatory value. So the best way to describe this, right, is let's use Brisbane as an example. We talked about Brisbane yesterday. Currently have pick 20. That is worth 912 value. It says 948 there. Ignore that. 912 in value, right? However, Richmond, because of the example we've used there, they would lose them. They could do a trick. They could do a pick swap here where 42, 43 and 45 are worth 1,020. They get pick 20. Brisbane get 42 and 43 and 45. And why that works in the AFL is providing Brisbane have got them 3 list spots, which they should do quite easily, that helps them match Levi Ashcroft's bid. Because for them, they're not looking at quality of player in the draft versus Richmond are. Richmond know 20 gets a better player regardless of having 42, 43 and 45. That player isn't as good as pick 20, but its mandatory value, its money value, his monetary value is worth more. So for pick matching, it's better to hold 42, 43 and 45 to pay the debt as opposed to buying new. So look at that there as like a car, right? A $2,000 car may be in your budget, but in an ideal world, a 20k car brand new, it's going to be less on maintenance and less on costs. So look at it that way. So that's why teams will look to trade picks who have got bid matches like Brisbane. So that's very important to know. Now, then there is a debt rule. So this is very important for Brisbane. There is a debt rule. So currently, if you have players in the NGA or father-son, sometimes you will be able to match all the bids. Now, obviously, this is why the AFL has that important rule that you're only allocated live bids for list spots, because otherwise what could happen is you could have Brisbane take 20 picks in round 3. So it would devalue it. So you could look at, like, say, GWS. Let's just say GWS had 6 picks in round 3. They could sell all that for like a pick 5 or something like that. So that's why the AFL do that. It stops hoarding picks. It also gives a fair chance to other clubs. And that's why that rule's there, right? So sometimes you may go into debt. Now, it's happened a few times. Liam Henry at Fremantle. So you are allocated a debt scheme of basically winning the Premier. So that's pick 18, pick 36, 54 and 72, which works out as 1726 in point value, right? And the debts, though, it's important to know this, the debt only applies to the pick in which you've matched. So if it was a first-round pick, it would only account your first-round pick. If it was a second-round pick, it would only occur. And then if there isn't a pick in the future owing in that round, it's at a reduced scaled system. So the best way to look at that is, let's just say, to keep the math simple, round 3 begins at pick 37 if you do 18 times 3, right? Let's say pick 40 this year, the 4th pick in the third round was the bid. Next year, the 4th round pick would be used. My first pick in the 3rd round would be used. If it was the 4th, it would be scaled down to what that would be at the start of the next round. So scaled down to that selection. So the 4th selection in the 4th round would be my reduction value. So that's where the debt occurs. It would be my next round. It would be my next round. And it's scaled in that way. So it's scaled in, if it was the 4th pick in the 3rd round, the debt would be scaled of whatever the difference is from the 4th round to the 4th. So it's quite complicated, but quite simple. So let's do a real life example, because that makes it easier. Then let's ask lots of questions, right? Let's say this is Carlton's off-season at the minute, right? Let's say they delist Sam Durden. They get a future 3rd for Matt Owens and Jack Carroll from West Coast Eagles and North Melbourne. Carlton trade their future 1st and the 2 future 3rds to GWS, and they trade in pick 16. This could be Dan Houston as well. So this could be Dan Houston. I don't want you to get too caught up on what's happening. I just want you to see how the list spots. We rookie A, Matt Carroll, promote Jordan Boyd because he's served his 3 years on the rookie A, and the category B gives us 5 list spots. So under that scenario, Carlton, you can see here, would have pick 12, pick 16, pick 34, pick 66, pick 69, and then we've readied out, right? We've readied out pick 72 because as Richmond go on the clock, Carlton's 5th extra picks are deleted out of the system, right? They're deleted out of the system. So Carlton now go into the draft in this scenario with them amount of picks, okay? So they've got them picks, and we know we've got Camporelli and players like that, okay? So it's pretty straightforward at the moment, pretty straightforward. So let's do scenario 1. We've gone in, we've taken Joe Berry, Luke Traynor, Toby Travalla, whoever you want with them 2 picks, right? And then it goes to pick 33, Hawthorn go, and we've not put the bid matches out. I want to keep this as simple as possible. Obviously, 33 would go down and stuff like that, but for the purpose of the point system, they're all scaled. So don't go in the comments and go, oh, Leon Lombardo, Sam Marshall. We know, we're just trying to keep this as simple as possible as an educational piece. So let's just say pick 33, Hawthorn go. With pick 33, we're putting a bid in for Ben Camporelli, right? So Carlton then get on the phone, they get the extended time, and they've got 34, they've got the next pick, right? So they've got 34, 66, 69. As you can see here, 563. So pick 33 in real money is worth a little bit. So pick 33 in real money is $563 worth of debt. But Carlton have got that claim on him. He's a father-son. So they give their father-son discount card. That debt becomes 366 to Carlton, right? So Carlton only have to pay 366. Now, Carlton can't use other picks. It's your next pick that you have to use for the debt. So you couldn't have like 34, 50, and 51. It always comes off the next pick you've got. So Carlton go, okay, we're going to match. Carlton lose 34, right? They lose 34 in this scenario, right? Which works out at 542. Meaning they've got 366 change, meaning that Carlton have to get that pick back. So the AFL will allocate and Carlton will slide to 58. So it's the next pick because 58 is 170. Carlton are slightly over that. It's not enough points. They don't round it up to 57. It would slot in at 58. So Carlton's draft now would be 58, 66, and 69. And they have to go out and use that pick or do that. Lucas Camporelli, the bid could come in there. Carlton would have, with them scenarios, any pick really to cover that. And then they would be totally done in the draft. Or they take a selection at that pick. So that's a really important one. But what would happen if it came after 33? Let's say the dog Carlton make their selection. They go 34. This is who we're getting. Rah-de-rah-de-rah. And then the next pick after that, Bulldogs go 58. Okay? So now Carlton have 66 and 69, which is 68 points. 522 is the debt. That's the value of 35. They use their father-son card. They knock the debt down to 325. Now, Carlton's debt is only 68. We've only got 68 to pay the debt. So we now have 257 in deficit. Now, this pick here, 35, is a second rounder, meaning next year's future second incurs the 257. So let's just say Carlton finished and they had pick 37 next year. That would knock that down to 52. Now, there may be some scaling involved because the picks aren't worth it. The AFL hasn't confirmed it, and I don't think they will have it because everyone I've talked to says no, it's going to still be the same rule, and then it's just going to carry over. So matching with futures and going into debt this year is a little bit harder, right? It'll be interesting to see what happens with Brisbane, though, because they will go into debt. But that means Carlton would go from 37 and they pay the debt next year, which means their second rounder becomes 52. Okay? So really, really a complex system that we've made simple there. So ask your questions in chat. It's really important. But that's why I want you to think when we're looking at Brisbane and we're looking at the pick values they've got, that's why they would sell 20 for a multitude of picks. Currently, it's worth noting, Brisbane have 3 list spots, 3 players out of contract. They can play a little bit of a game here and add 4 picks for pick 20 in reality, knowing that 2 players come onto that list with their father and son. So it's always important that you think about it that way. But hopefully that's given a bit of clarity. We'll be back tonight with a recap of whatever happens today. Look after yourselves. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace, love and light. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad.